This is Dillon Collins, the kingpin of Chico comedy, and you're listening to Mitch, Please.
Mitch, Please, since 2016. Flying with angels, dancing with devils, caught in between a saint and a rebel. Trying to live my best life, go into it like a WWF fight. And the fans are screaming, they got my back like I'm really beaming. So beam me up, Scotty, kicking down doors like I know karate. I got the fuego like Mojave, getting high is my hobby. Mitch, Please, in 2016. Podcast so ill, it might catch a body. Can't no one harm me. It would take more than the army to stop Mitch Valentine from doing what he gotta do. He stays on his grind. R.I.P. Joe Rogan. Y'all better know that we coming. We ain't ever running. So turn up the sound and keep it 100. Keep it 100. Mitch Valentine, keep it 100. Keep it 100. Mitch, Please podcast, keep it 100. Now chill. Yeah, hashtag make dreams happen. Pro Championship Entertainment at Heartbreaker MV at ECE since 2015. Yeah, follow your dreams, y'all. Mitch, Please, since 2016.
What's going on, everybody? This is Mitch Valentine, and welcome to episode 39 of Mitch, Please. I'm just coming off a Fozzy rock show at the Ace of Spades last night in Sacramento. Still feeling the effects, but I'm here live right now in Chico, California, sitting next to one of my good friends, one of my favorite comedians. We're going to talk here about the state of comedy. He is the one and only Don Ashby. What's going on?
Not much. How you doing? Happy to be here. Happy to be doing this.
Yeah, brother. You were on episode 3, I believe, one of my early episodes, and we told your story, and it's a great story, and a lot's gone on the last 3 years, yeah. No doubt for you and for me, and I mean probably for everybody, right? 3 years is a long time.
3 years is enough time for things to happen, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. And yeah, so let's just kind of talk about what's been going on. Let's start with like the Chico comedy scene. I mean, a lot's happened. I think these last couple years, it's constantly evolving. You're like, I consider like one of the founding members of the Chico comedy scene. So, going back to 2012, kind of when it started taking off, how has it evolved over the years, in your opinion?
Well, I don't know. I like the whole scene. It sounds weird talking about this. There was no founding fathers. Like we had an actual document. Like, oh, this is the word. Like it was really a bunch of people that were just passionate and had no idea what they were doing. But found solace in each other and a drive to pursue something everybody wanted to do and a way to do it by just unifying. There's been a lot of, I'm sure with any scene, a lot of things that come, go. People are gone, people are still here, new faces, new blood. Recently we've seen an insurgence, like in the last 3 years, of a lot of new talent, a lot of new people that are showing up that caught on because of all the previous collective of these idiots just telling, dick jokes in bars for a while. Brought life to these other people. I see all these other people that see this going on, and now it's more accessible. Like, oh, this is something you can do. And so you're seeing people just starting out for the first time, people that have wanted to do it their whole lives, and just seeing that they can do it. And it's interesting because as many people that drift in that end up going away, there's always still people coming in that kind of stick around. Not the same percentage, but the ones that do, everything kind of changes. Like, actually, the scene's been a lot more positive lately. There's been a lot more camaraderie and less politics and jealousy kind of going on than there was probably about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So things are kind of on a upswing right now.
Yeah, I think we got to give a lot of credit to, I mean, everybody in the scene, the like I said, the original people like yourself that have been doing it for a long time. But Dillon Collins, man, the guy's getting out there. He's doing a lot, and he's really young, really like early into his comedy career, and he's getting out there and booking a lot of shows, giving people a lot of opportunities. And I think there's two types of like successful people I've seen in the like the Chico comedy scene, right? There's like the people I would say like yourself that are great artists and they really crack down on their writing and they really put on a really good performance and they're always somebody that you want to book because they're just very talented. And then there's people kind of like Dillon and myself who we book shows, right? So we can get our stage time for ourselves and also make, relationships and connections and do it that way. So I feel like those are the two, I don't know, maybe you have a different opinion, but those are the two ways I've seen to really get your name out there in this area.
No, absolutely. I do see both ends of that, and both absolutely have value. I agree with you. I'm not so, you and Dillon have these skill sets that I'm not necessarily imbued with. I suck at that part. And, but I kind of have always been of the mind like just focus on what I know I can do, keep doing that. That'll do something. That'll turn out one way or another. Whereas, I look at envy with these people that are actually the people that make something happen, actually create an event, bring people together, because that's facilitating. Without that, there'd be nothing that is an event where people that have the drive, the talent, or the passion, both performers and audience members, something for them to look forward to, something for them to engage with. So writing alone is great, but it's not the end-all be-all of what this is. It takes a lot of different things, which is cool about having a community, because not everybody's supposed to have every skill set.
Exactly.
It's a bunch of people coming together with different angles on this, different facets of their abilities, manifesting all together that makes something actually pop,
Absolutely, dude. No, that's exactly then that's how things work. That's how little smaller organizations or smaller companies in anything grow, is you have people that they're not the same. They all have different skills, like you're saying, and they all come together, work together, and then boom, you get this great creation. So I mean, I just think personally that if we all work together more, that this scene could be better than it's ever been.
Absolutely, yeah.
If we're all, just working as a team, and it's just everyone's got different goals, right? So that's my next question is, for me, I don't know double throat clear. Did you guys hear that? That's rare. That's rare on Mitch Please. A double throat clear.
It's like a well-tuned engine. Lymphatic failing system engine.
But yeah, I mean, goals, right? Like for me, I don't really know, wrestling was my dream, right? That's the thing I've loved since I was 12. That's what I wanted to do. And then comedy was ooh, this is kind of like wrestling in the sense where I can get on stage and get some attention and try to create a reaction and, whatever. So I don't know if being a stand-up comedian's my dream, making it as a stand-up comedian. I don't know if I tell people I don't think that's my dream. I mean, I love doing it, but I don't think that's my dream. So my goals in comedy, I don't know, right? I'm kind of I just want to have fun. I want to, make some money maybe here and there, be around good people, laugh. I don't know. What about for you though? What are some of your goals you think for comedy? I mean, you've been doing it for 7-8 years, 10 years?
Yeah, something like that. I've lost track. Goals, boy, that's a big one. By the way, thank you for the compliment. I just plowed through that earlier about like trying to write and perform. I guess that's still where I'm at as far as my goal. I've been saying to myself, like, I want to just rest assured that I feel that I'm doing this thing that I love so much and doing it to the best of my ability. And I'm still always at a place where, like, I can look back and take some comfort in, like, seeing a progression, but I'm still always like, I need to be working harder. I need to focus more, write more. I need to pursue it more. And there has been, like, some of my goals. First of all, I don't have this pipe dream of making a killer of a career off of it. I mean, I would love if at some point I could actually make a livable wage doing something in the creative sector. And stand-up's a huge part of it. That's my roots. That's my most passionate project. But just writing comedy in general, working in comedy, is really appealing to me. Any part of the creative sector involved in that. But I have to be realistic. I have to pay rent, and I have to keep shoes on my feet, and I have to keep feeding the cat. So, and the cat's hungry. So, so, as far as goals, I really it's not the destination. So far, it's been like just the pursuit of it that's been the most rewarding part. Like all the people I've gotten to interact with.
Yeah.
All the adventures I've gotten to have, all the cool experiences, and just how rewarding it is to pursue something that's creative, that it, by its very nature, like the nature of this business is to bring joy to people. Like that feels really good.
Yeah.
Long-term goals, we'll see. I'm just going to keep working and see where it goes. There are things I need to do better, like promote. I suck at that. But I'm branching out to other facets. Like I'm working with doing sketch comedy and things like that. Like,
how's that going? Now is Corey still? He's still doing that? Man, I totally forgot about it. He's because I went there one time. Corey's Finnegan.
Yeah.
He was putting together a sketch comedy TV on the public access channel. I went to one. I was like, man, this is a lot of work. And you guys are still doing that, yeah?
So right now we're on a 2-month hiatus because what we have right now is a giant pot of footage, all the material that we filmed, and we're in the editing process before we can get a finished product.
The hardest part.
The hardest
most
part.
Most time consuming. And that says a lot because all the time you guys spent writing and performing. Right. Now the editing, we had
to learn everything, every step of the way. This was totally like do-it-yourself, grassroots. We have access to all this equipment and this wonderful place to be able to do this, meet, write, record. But it's kind of, you're on your own, guys. You have to figure this out. So we're in the process of taking all that footage, getting it where we want to see it as a product, and getting it finalized to put out there. But we do have a couple episodes ready to go once this ramps up. Probably, I would say in another 2-3 months, we're going to be able to drop, a couple episodes. Probably, it's hard for me to say, but probably 40 minutes worth of material.
Awesome.
Two different 20-minute episodes.
Awesome. I can't wait to see it, and I definitely want to get Corey Finnegan on the show to talk about that when those do drop, and that's awesome, bro. Yeah. No, that's great. And going back to what you're saying, man, you're writing. Like, I've done writing sessions with you, and you have made me better in just a couple 45-minute writing sessions. Like, I feel that you should be doing a monthly Don Ashby writing session, charging people per head, and that could be, just my opinion. Like, I feel that that's something that you're really, really good at, not only writing for yourself, but helping other people with their material, dude. That's a really powerful skill you have, and I think you should get paid for it. But, but anyways, we do have your girlfriend, Sydney Hupp, standing by. We're going to be telling her story momentarily. Let's just wrap up here. Let's talk about, like, some of your favorite things, maybe just in comedy in general, right? Because there's movies, there's TVs, there's stand-up specials, there's sketch comedy, there's animated comedy. I don't know, but like stands out to you, like right now in the world of comedy, maybe mainstream, maybe something on the independent level, like like what we're doing. But what's something that really you keep your eyes on?
I think that animated comedy is always going to be something that can get away with something that any other form of comedy can't do, and there's still a huge world of opportunity with what, and it. Now we're into the world of adult animated comedy. South Park helped kick that off. The Simpsons before that, where it's actually more geared towards this certain demographic, and it's only going further from there. I mean, it's going to be cliche to say, but Rick and Morty is one of the smartest comedy
Beavis and Butthead
shows. Beavis and Butthead, for what that was, Mike Judge, he resonated with something that needed to be done, and it made all these people happy finally, yes, and it was hilarious. It still is. It
was cool too because it was on MTV and they would incorporate music videos, and it was the cool funny comedy. And then South Park came along. Like Simpsons was like, I mean, I'm gonna be a couple years younger than you or whatever, but like for my generation, like Simpsons was like a family comedy.
Yeah, animated. But subtle, because there was some smart stuff in there that was. They had some of the most talented comedy writers in the world working on that show, and that peeked through absolutely. Even though it seemed so, innocuous, just a cartoon on Fox. It's one of the longest running sitcoms in the world now, like animated for sure. But aside from just animation, I've always loved sketch comedy. I think there's a lot of room for sketch comedy. We're in there's been so many good sketch comedy groups that have come out, but take SNL. That's a behemoth of an industry, and we've seen incredible talent pass through that. But anybody can write sketch. Anybody can do that. And it's cool when you see the little heads pop up, out of the bushes, where there's something unique and fun to look at. Stand-up is, it has been on a big resurgence, like ever since the 80s. And it's weird. I almost have a feeling that that's going to pop eventually. Like, it's going to be less cool, which is a good and bad thing, I suppose. It's definitely like everything's different. Everything's different now, so it's really hard to say. We're more tuned in with media than we ever have been.
Gifts and memes and stuff.
Yeah. There's a million different ways to share humor.
Yeah.
Now, and it's all around us, and that's a little different than it used to be. So, who knows? It's an exciting time.
A little bit of the bubbly. Have you seen that? Have you guys seen that? I'll have to show you guys that off air here. Ellis Rodriguez, who we're doing a show with this Saturday, he told me about a year ago, he was like, do clean comedy. When we're talking about...
I would agree. It's important to be able to do clean comedy. That doesn't have to be your whole act. A lot of my comics I really revere work dirty, but there's also a lot that I really revere that can do clean work, and I think it's important because if you're somebody that's into funny and you like laughing and you know what funny is as a human, because it's a very shared human experience, and things don't have to be dirty to be funny. And you'll see that when comics start out, they'll start dirty. Everybody knows it's easier to get a laugh with a dick joke than anything else, and you'll get a laugh, and that's what you want. You need that when you start. As you pursue it further, it becomes more about how to get a better laugh, a more quality laugh out of yourself and out of these strangers that you're blessed enough to be able to entertain. And it becomes a challenge, it becomes a game almost, something that's respectable. It's like good writing. Anybody can write a limerick. Can you write a good limerick that doesn't rely on the cliche rhymes? Same kind of endeavor.
Absolutely. Yeah, like we're talking about The Simpsons and SNL. These things are on cable television. There's little innuendos, but clean stuff that you can watch with your 13-year-old kid or whatever, is something that is going to probably be more successful, maybe on a mainstream level, make you more money. I don't know, but yeah. I hear what you're saying, though. You gotta,
You can still explore the human condition. You can still be dark or introspective or something that's not generally like something okay to talk about without being dirty at all.
Yeah.
Like, actually, it's more powerful that way.
Yeah.
That being said, I still think dick jokes and fart jokes are funny.
Yeah.
And I always will. I will die thinking they're funny. Because they are.
I think, because all audiences are different, right? Like,
right.
I remember, like, because I was trying to do clean comedy for a little bit, and people were mad. They're like, say fuck, talk about your dick. And I'm just like, all right. Like, you just never know what the people want to hear. You know, I guess over time you probably do. I mean, I've made a lot of mistakes in rooms where I didn't know what the people wanted, and I definitely said the wrong stuff. So, but you learn from that. And you learn from talking with you, Don Ashby. I appreciate your time, brother.
No, absolutely. Thank you.
Where can people find more out about you on social media? I know you're all over there all the time.
Yeah. I have a new website. It's called don'ttalktome.com. And it's where people can go to not correspond with me. No, it's mcdonalds.com. No, that's shit. I can best be reached at Twitter. It's at not the real Don Ashby 51187 leave me alone _ fuck you. That's my handle. Reach out to me. Stalk me on Facebook. Do it. Don Ashby at facebook.com. Is that a handle? I don't know how Facebook works anymore. Just call me. My phone number is 5. Just text me. My email is donmashby@gmail.com. You want to go with that? Go for it.
All right. I mean, you are on Twitter, and you are Don Mashby, right? Don _ Mashby?
Yeah, Don Mashby.
The guy, you got like 800 followers, and you haven't fucking tweeted in years.
Yeah, like 4 years.
Someone explain that to me. So, all right, man. Well, thank you again for your time, Don. We'll see you this Saturday at the Copa de Oro. And right now, let's kick it on over to our interview with Sydney Hupp. All right, so here we go. I have known this young lady for over 3 years. I met you actually at the Maltese, one of the first shows you did, I think, doing stand-up comedy. She's a friend of the family, I think, right? I used to tell people, I remember one time I was like, this is my family, and she's like, don't ever tell people you're my family. But no, we have a real mutual friend. I'll shout her out, Joyce Gulliver. What up, Joyce? I know you're listening. And this young lady's been just doing comedy, and she's been doing amazing. I'm going to say it. I think she's the best stand-up comedian, best female stand-up comedian in Chico, one of the best stand-up comedians in Chico, period. Give it up for Sydney Hupp.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Hey.
What's going on? Hard to get you on this show. You didn't want to tell your you didn't want to talk about yourself, but you know what? We're here, we're live, and we're going to talk about you.
Okay.
So, where are you from, and what was life like growing up?
I grew up in Chester, which I talk about on stage. Yeah, it has. You haven't gotten me on. I hate talking about myself, so we'll do the best we can. But yeah, I grew up in Chester my whole life, and then I didn't, stray too far. I came to Chico, which most people from Chester High School do. But yeah, just I don't know. Growing up there was really boring, so making people laugh was always fun. So I came from, I was the youngest with me, my brother, and my sister, so to get attention, just trying to make people laugh. But
small town, right? A couple thousand people?
Yeah, 2,000 people. Yeah. My graduating class was 38, which I talk about on stage. But yeah, it was boring, so, partying started early with nothing else to do. And then you go to Chico Party School, so that continued.
Well, I mean, going back to maybe when you were a younger, kid, what were some of the things that made you happy? What did you like to do as far as activities, or what were some of the things you enjoyed to consume?
To consume?
Yeah.
Eat? No, just kidding. In Chester, there was nothing to do, so I had my hand in everything. I played a lot of sports. I played soccer and basketball and softball, and I did a lot of theater arts. I like to perform. I like attention. So I did like drama class and choir and band and all of that. So
when I said consume, I mean, we can talk about food because I love food. But what I mean consume, like consumers, like television, like programs, things that you were watching, I guess, and that were kind of maybe just something that was inspiring you, or just the thing that you looked forward to.
I watched, SNL. I wanted to do SNL just coming from theater. I love sketch comedy. I've always watched stand-up. My mom and dad are really into stand-up comedy, so just anything funny, really. I don't know. I didn't watch a lot of sports, hated football. Had one of those dads that was a big football guy, but I don't know what I watched. I'm trying to think.
Who were some of your favorite stand-up comedians?
Well, I got started early with Chris Rock and Eddie Murphy. Those are my favorites, and I told you I don't like to talk about myself. I'm trying to think of my youth. I was drinking too much in my early days, so can't really remember a lot of high school.
When did you start drinking?
When I was 14, I got my first drinking ticket. So there you go. There you have it.
Drinking ticket?
Yeah. It went 14, 16, 18.
Well, what do you mean? Like you drunk in public?
It was minor in possession. Got stuck at the railroad tracks. Okay. Party out in the woods.
Yeah, I had my first drink at 14. It was Tampico and vodka.
Mine was Jaeger. Ooh. So I could really relate to that David Tell bit that he does about Jaeger. That was my laugh.
First time I drank Jaeger, I did like 8 Jaeger bombs, and I got a drunk in public in Hayward.
Oh, that's brutal. No. It would not be good to get a drunk in public, and you weren't living there at the time, right?
No. I was down there for a wrestling show, and you can hear the full story on episode 4 of Mitch, please. But I mean, drinking's it's dangerous.
Yeah, it's bad, but it's fun. But just growing up in a small town, that's what we did up there. You know, all the boys hunted, and I don't know what us girls did. Smoke pot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What God, so Chester. So you graduated from Chester High School.
So yeah, the only thing we had was like Holiday Market and a bowling alley. So we just walk Main Street and go back and forth between the two. Pull pranks on people.
See, now I went to Quincy. I lived in Quincy for a little bit.
Oh, you did?
That's kind of close, right? Yeah. I always remember seeing Chester signs when I was in Quincy. They were a
rival soccer team. Yeah, we used to beat the shit out of those girls. It's great, and it's with small towns. The parents, how animated they are. You know, talking shit from the bleachers. So it wasn't just the kids. It was super competitive with parents, too.
Worst name ever, Quincy Trojans.
I know. We did a banner. It was so lame for a pep rally that said, the Trojans better bring some protection because they're about to get laid, son. Laid out.
What was the Chester?
Volcanoes, which is even worse. Which is even fucking worse. The Volcanoes as a mascot is just, we're a natural disaster. You can't defeat a natural disaster.
I like
the volcanoes.
I like volcanoes, actually. I think volcanoes are cool, but
volcanoes are cool.
They are. No, if you look at our PCE logo, it's actually there's a volcano exploding.
Really?
Yeah, I love volcanoes. I'm gonna get some ink and some volcanoes on my own. Anyways, so you like stand-up comedy, Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy. Your parents would watch it with you.
Yeah. My mom. I'm trying to think of other people, but yeah, I come from a funny family. You have to. My mom's from a huge family, so she's one of 12. Irish Catholic, huge family. They all start with D's. There's Don, Diane, Denise, Danny, Debbie, Dave, Doug, Dean, Doria, Devin, Dylan, Derek.
Wait a second. Who's Don?
Dawn is my eldest aunt. She's the firstborn.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So it's D-A-W-N.
Yes,
okay.
But her father, my grandfather, was Don.
D-O-N.
Don and Dorothy, yes.
So grandpa, because it's grandpa. So because I dated a girl with the same first name as my mom, and it was a disaster for me personally. Yeah. So I always just be careful with that. But obviously, the Don that you got is a good Don.
It's helpful so I can remember his name.
Yeah,
you know, not like in my early 20s trying to remember boys' names.
So let's talk about your early 20s. Because what are you, like 25 now?
I'm 29. I'm pushing 30, man. I'm getting old.
So you started comedy around 26.
Yes.
But before we get into that, what were you doing in your early 20s? Just partying, hanging out? I mean, did you go to college?
I did go to college. I went to Butte first, and then went to Chico State, and I majored in recreation administration. It was hotel and lodging management. But I mean, I didn't even pick my own major. My mom picked my major for me because I just was not, taking life seriously at all. Yeah. So it was something I wasn't passionate about at all. But I did graduate. I got my bachelor's. I survived by the skin of my teeth. Yeah, C's get degrees. So
a C is still a degree. That's what my girl would always say. It's nursing school. She's like, yeah. But,
maybe not nursing. You want to get good grades.
No, she did. But there's times, because like I was kicked out of every school. I took 2 classes last semester. Hated it. It was too much. I hate it. I don't like school, but like, you get to that point where it's so overwhelming and you're just like, well, C's a degree. Like, I mean, it's just too much. The homework.
Adderall helps.
Yeah. That's
what you hear?
That's what I've heard. I think our boy Phil from Chico might have posted something about that recently. I don't know. But, he's back in school. And we're going to talk about him and all the Chico scene experiences and the peeps, man, the homies. But before that, so you graduated Chico State. I mean, did you know recreation? What was your major?
It was hospitality, hotel management, and I thought I was going to go travel, but I did. That's right when about the time I found comedy. My buddy who I went to high school with, Richard Oliver, who we don't see anymore. I'm trying to get him back into comedy, but he was going to Mike's, and I've been in Chico 4 years and had no idea that we even had a comedy scene. So he's like, "Come check me out. I'm doing stand-up," and I was so excited to even go watch. And I went once to the Maltese Sunday Mike back when it was popping.
It was a Monday though, right?
Well, maybe it was on Mondays.
Because they had the mugs.
Yes, the big bread cups, yes. And once I just saw, I'm like that. I've always wanted to do stand-up. I've always been the friend that makes everybody laugh. But that's to the hardest part of comedy is that I realized that has nothing to do with comedy and how difficult it is. You can't just be funny. You got to be talented and be able to write. So.
Well, I think being naturally funny and charismatic, which I feel that you are, you're just like if you meet you for the first time or whatever, like you have that natural like, what's up everybody, like, and you'll say something funny or whatever. So I think that helps.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's talk about your first time on stage. You said you went and watched.
I watched first.
And then what, a week later?
A week later, yeah. So it wasn't that I was just drawn to the stand-up. It was I went out back and heard everybody talking on the patio, and it was like, holy fuck, these are my people. These are my garbage people. I think I'll fit right in with these people. And so I went home when I first started doing stand-up, and I went home and just wrote for the whole week. And then for my first few weeks, I would pump out a new set, and I would practice it for hours before the mic because I was so nervous and I didn't want to look fucking stupid. So I would go over it, perform it for my friends, and prepare that way. But it was nerve-wracking. I went up with like 3 pieces of binder paper my first time, and I was just shaking.
I still,
I still do too. Yeah, super nervous.
It's just, I think it's not nerves. I think it's these like exciting butterflies.
Yeah.
Is what it is. Like they call them butterflies because you're excited because oh my gosh, I'm going to get up on stage and who knows, right?
Right.
Like I think I'm going to get some laughs, but who knows?
You never know. Like, exactly.
This could be really embarrassing. So I just think that if you don't have that feeling, I don't think you should be doing it.
No, I don't think so either. But just coming from a performing background and always wanting to be the center of attention, it was kind of a bizarre feeling to find out how nervous I was on stage. Just with that creative outlet, comedy is just, that was, because it's reliant on you. I'm not reading a script, I'm reading what I wrote. So I think the vulnerability on stage is way nerve-wracking. But I loved it and I wanted to keep going.
Let's go back for just a second because we kind of breezed right through. You said you had a theater background.
Yeah.
So you did some plays.
Yes.
In high school.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? How many plays? I mean, what was that like? Because I've done one play, and like, it's a lot of work.
It is a
lot
of
of time.
I can't remember exactly how many, but I always took drama and did theater. But Chester, we didn't have much of a budget,
right?
So it wasn't your typical theater class. We did a lot of improv, so we didn't necessarily do a lot of which. Again, my improv in high school, I thought that it would benefit me in comedy as well. But I suck at riffing. If that's one thing that I want to work on with comedy is I cannot fucking riff to save my life. And I thought with my improv background it'd be a lot easier, but it's not.
I just say just maybe just do it more, right? Like, 'cause repetition
exactly.
is everything. I mean, I don't know.
Exactly.
But you don't need advice from me, obviously. You're excellent. And how did it feel that first night doing comedy? I mean, I'm sure you got laughs. How did it go?
It went well, but it went well because I guess I was considered a bringer when I started, so I got laughs because it was all my homies that were there.
I can vouch for that, by the way. You were the #1 ticket seller in PCE history.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, I've lived in Chico for a long time, so have a lot of friends, and they wanted to come and support me, which was awesome. So I don't know. Thank God for that, though, because it gave me the momentum to keep going with stand-up, that I had that encouragement, because I don't know if I would have gotten as many laughs as I did, had that. And I am grateful for that because it kept me going. Because nothing defeats me more than when I bomb on stage, So it was a good start to doing comedy, was having them laugh.
Yeah, no, I did the same thing on my first mic at the Maltese. I brought like 6 or 7 of my friends, and I got laughs, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm great." I get all these laughs from people. And then the next time I went to the down low, and nobody knew was there, and I like totally bombed and like almost cried. So
it sucks. Yeah. No, Becky Lynn. It was the funniest thing when I first started, because I was saying, "Oh, it's so great that all of my friends have been coming to support me," and she's like, "Oh, that's cute." She's like, "That's not gonna last." And that was the most. I thought she was mean at the time, and I've told her this story. I thought she was mean at the time, but that was facts. They'll get sick of it, especially when you're not pumping out new material, which is hard to keep up on too.
It's tough because, especially like to bring people, because not everyone, but a lot of people that book shows are like, "Oh, bring people, sell tickets," me included, right? But once your friends see your stuff, it's going to be probably 6 months before you have like really some new stuff.
Right.
Who knows?
Unless you're me and it's been 3 years. Just kidding.
Well, whatever. But it works. If it works, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Or wait,
Yeah, you said that right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. So your first mic went good, and then did you hit some studio mics?
Yeah.
And
then
you
I
just
started
kept
going to
the
the
Maltese?
studio. No, I went to both mics. I was going every week. And I think it was a month, and that's when me and Don booked me for my first show, and that was at the Maltese, which was a really big show.
Yeah, I was there.
It was David Gabori, Butch Escobar, and I always forget the third guy, but that was a pretty big deal. And I honestly, so I was just getting into comedy. I was about a month in, and when Don Ashby, the Don of the comedy scene, asked me to be in the show, like I thought they were going to pull like a Carrie prank on me and dump pig's blood or whatever. I'm like, I hit out because Rachel Miles was a friend in the beginning for me, which was awesome. Because I called her because she was in the show and so was Becky. And I was like, okay, why the fuck is Don Ashby booking me? She told me it's because I'm a bringer, but I later found out that no, like you have been doing really good for just starting out. So that was a really awesome first show.
I was there that night. That's the first time I saw you perform.
My folks came down and everything. It was fun to see my dad's reaction to my vulgar jokes on stage.
I was blown away because I had been around the scene for a year or two or whatever. I never heard of you or seen you, and then I saw you. I was like, wow, she's really good. And like, so Don booked you.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about Don. But if you want, who are some of the other people maybe early on that maybe were helping you write or giving you feedback?
If I'm being really honest, nobody. When I first started, there was a new group of us. It was me, Richard Oliver, Rich Marar, and Guy Cassidy. And we were kind of all started at the same time and we're hanging out. Because I have vented this to Don before, that the vets I don't feel like they kind of took me under their wing. Nobody told me about the light. That was embarrassing. For weeks, I was mortifying myself and probably pissing off a lot of people because I kept running the mic. Because nobody, somebody should pull you aside and be like, hey, don't run that. But I was like OCD and had to finish everything I wrote, so that sucked.
Oh, people are taking pictures of me. This is great. Yeah. I'm going to keep going.
But so I hung out with those guys in my early days. It was me and those 3 guys. But I think I worked really independently for a while, too. But then, when me and Don got together, I ended up moving into a house with all these seasoned comics. So that was really interesting. I think I got better because of all of them. It was like Scott Powers, Amy, Drew McGillicuddy, like all these great comics, and I think I got better because of them. But I went through a really hard time trying to write because I was trying to keep up with these vets, and with my material, it made me really insecure. So I had a hard time writing for a long time because of that.
Gotcha. So a month in, you get booked on your first show, Don Ashby, and then if you're comfortable talking about it, you guys developed a romantic relationship, right?
Yeah,
you guys are boyfriend and girlfriend.
I was crushing on him for a while. That idiot didn't know that I liked him. Because I'm not subtle. So I was hitting on him, but Don's that sweet guy that, I have to sit on his lap for him to know that I like him. But no, we had that first show, and we just kind of hit it off after that first show, because Don's I had no idea. Don on stage is a psychopath. So I expected that off of stage.
Right.
And I had no idea that he was just this sweet, sensitive person. I had no fucking idea.
Oh, you're killing it.
Based on his set.
You're killing his gimmick right now.
No, I know. No, he's yeah. Well, what really threw me is that, like, after the show, we had hung out at his house, and I saw him tutoring Scott Powers in calculus. And I thought Don was like a burnout or whatever. Like, I had no idea, and I'm like, he's teaching him calculus right now. So yeah,
that sounds.
I had no idea the type of person he was out, off stage.
Don tutoring Scott Powers in calculus sounds like a sketch comedy bit.
I know, right? But I didn't know. That's what I didn't know about comedy, was like that it's an act on stage. I thought Nick Stiles was really Hank Duke. I thought that was his real name when I started. And yeah, until I was like on Facebook, and I was like, oh, his name's Nick. Oh, I had no idea. I knew nothing about comedy when I started.
I had Nick and Eve on the show before, and Eve was like, I thought that was too, until one time I saw him at the grocery store.
Yeah.
So no, that's funny though. I mean, because we could talk about this. This is another thing, gimmicks in comedy. Like Larry the Cable Guy, or
right.
Was Mitch Hedberg a gimmick? I mean, who knows, right? But like those personas are, I think they're captivating.
And I think it's easier to do comedy because you're not your authentic self, and that's what I get hung up on, is that, like, not all my jokes, they're obviously embellished and not all true, but I get hung up on, like, I'm being really vulnerable because this is who I really am on stage, so that, having a gimmick or a persona on stage would be easier, I think.
I mean, who knows? It's just what works for you, because, I feel like you on stage, you're yourself dialed up to,
of course. You gotta crank
1,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where like wrestling and comedy always
go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand, because like the best characters and and in anything, right, in any live entertainment, with wrestling, comedy, or music, whatever, like the best characters are yourself, usually turned up to 1,000. So that's how I feel that you are, and Don too, maybe, but just with maybe a little tweak in there. I don't know. Obviously.
I don't know. People think he's a people have been surprised. They're like, because he's a psycho. He's just whatever. We don't have to talk about him. He's not that great. Anyways.
But you guys got together pretty early on, right?
Pretty early on. And I mean, he's taught me so much about comedy. I write better because of him. Because I mean, when you start, you can. Except I always want to impress him or the other comics. I think that's where I fuck up, is I'm trying to meet their expectations. Like, that's hack. It's like, I need, hacky works.
Hey,
I get laughs. So just not getting in that danger zone. But I definitely think more about my writing than I did before because of all these vet comics. I moved into this house. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was crazy. It was just a good learning experience, I'd say. But
yeah, because Scott Powers, and
Scott's
he's
hilarious.
One of the best.
Scott's super funny.
Yeah, so you're living, so you start comedy, you get with Don, then you're moved in. It was Scott Powers and Amy
and Cassidy. I forgot girl Cassidy O'Brien. Oh, and Justin Barron.
Oh,
Justin. Yeah, no, I forgot about that. All of us. That was like the comedy apartment, and I lived with a bunch of different comics.
I don't know,
but it's not as fun as you think it might be.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of different personalities, like
very big personalities all living under one roof, absolutely. And yeah,
I didn't know Justin that well. I know he was around for a while.
He was so
and
funny.
He's still doing comedy. I
Yeah,
think,
he
in
does
Southern
comedy down
California.
south now, yeah.
I'll never forget his last night at the studio, and
I know.
he was like on stage, so like
He's
being
so
emotional,
good.
thanking everybody.
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
know.
that's
Oh, that's
the most
awesome.
real shit I've ever seen on stage.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to Justin,
Yeah,
and
him
Scott,
and-
and Amy, and
Yeah,
all of them. You know?
all of them, absolutely.
And they helped you, and you guys
Yeah.
all worked together, and then you were just, I felt like you were just getting booked everywhere.
And I don't know if it's the girl thing or what. I don't want to discredit how hard I've worked and that, I do think I'm funny, obviously, but, there is that gender thing. I'll take it. It works to my advantage, and I was getting booked a lot.
Yeah.
Still am. Because
Yeah.
I've been gone from the mics for probably, since April, and I just started getting back into it because I got a lot of shows coming up that I need to prepare for.
Yeah, this Saturday at the
This
Copadera.
Saturday, yeah, I'm super excited. I need to see Ellis Rodriguez's stuff. I've heard nothing but good things about this guy. So
Yeah, he's amazing, and I'm looking forward to the show as well. And you, over the years now? So you've been doing comedy a little over 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So what were some of your maybe most memorable shows, most memorable performances, incidents on stage? I mean, let's talk about that.
Let's see. I think the best show I've ever done was at the Barrel Room in Orville. Scott had hosted it, Nick and Eve. Oh, Purple Line.
Purple Line. Okay, there we go. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't, the Barrel Room.
The
Yeah,
Barrel
Purple
Room.
Line.
It's like the keg room?
I don't know. I don't know if it's the Chester, Orville similarities there, but Orville loved me.
Oh, yeah.
It was just a fun room, and it just worked. They loved my shit, and that was a really, really, probably one of my best shows.
I thought you murdered
That
it Unwind earlier this year.
I was so, yeah, I was really drunk that show, but I'm glad I got a lot of compliments after Unwind.
There was a lot of, and this might be your demographic, there was a lot of women.
Yes.
30 to 45.
They got my shit. That's why I want to riff with these guys, right? Like Don, Scott, these TJ, all these really funny guys, but I have stuff that I don't know, girl stuff. Anyways, but yeah, it at Unwind that night, it really worked and resonated. My material resonated with chicks, which was what I'm glad about that.
Yeah. No, I think that's like me and Don were talking about this the other night at the lab mic. You guys kind of have different demographics, right?
Yes.
I think
that's good. I think that's why
Yeah.
it works, because we're not,
That's
super
why
competitive going for the same style.
I love I love booking you guys together on the show because you guys are so different, and I just think you guys have this great dynamic in this tag. Dawn and Sydney, man, book them together because they live together. They're boyfriend and girlfriend. They're both great, and it's just a great thing to do.
The funny thing about that Purple Line show was, so I would say that was probably the best show I've had. That was maybe not so good for Don. He got 86th that night.
Why?
Because he did his pedophile material. So I know, he doesn't really fuck kids.
Stand-up comedy.
So I'm talking to the owner after the show, and they were telling me how great it was and that I was welcome back anytime. And then they're like, but that guy talking about fucking kids. And they took his shit, they took his material seriously, and I did correct them. I said, well, he doesn't fuck kids, he fucks me. That's my boyfriend. And if you guys don't understand that he was kidding, then, yeah. Anyway, so, oh yeah, we were at best and worst shows. I've had some bad shows,
Well,
too.
just touch on that. I mean, yeah.
He doesn't fuck kids, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, people...
It's crazy that people don't get it.
It's stand-up comedy. It's you're talking about stuff. You're looking to get a reaction, and you're gonna just be all over the board about what you're talking about. There's no restrictions.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
as long as you're not
my ball stuff, my jokes about how much I love balls, the Studio Inn, because every time I do those at the Studio Inn, I have guys approach me and they think I'm fucking dead ass serious. They're like,
come on.
finally somebody that appreciates balls. I'm like, you got it, man. But it's like, you can't literally just take everything that I'm saying truthfully. Yeah, especially pedophile stuff.
It's like
why would a pedophile get on stage and admit his behavior to a crowd full of people?
It's like we were saying earlier about like personas. Like you're dialed up. And,
Yeah.
You're obviously not 100% serious with everything you're saying. I mean, a lot of stuff we say, maybe it is serious, but even then, if you don't think it's funny, don't laugh.
Right. And move on. Don't take it personal.
Yeah.
I get
over
right.
it. Unless someone kind of slaps you in the face.
Yeah.
Okay, then maybe you go too
Right.
far.
Then you exactly.
If you get off stage, if you're on stage and part of your bit is you slap somebody in the face, maybe don't do that.
Right.
But otherwise, like, come on. I mean,
You're there
obviously,
for a laugh too. It's like, why go someplace that you're trying to laugh and have a bad time?
my only thing that I would be personally offended at is someone dropping the N-word.
Yeah.
If they weren't black, right? Because, I mean, that's the whole thing.
I mean, it depends on how you do the bit. If you're a good writer, I would never attempt it.
Yeah.
Ever. But Louis, C.K., and there's just some other comics that if you write it in the correct context and from the right perspective, it's not bad. Yeah. I mean, you can get away with it, but you got to be a pro and be good at writing. But no, I'm so not there to drop N-bombs yet.
Yeah. Well, it's, again, just like me personally, that would offend me, but that's about it, you know? I don't know. I guess everyone's just different. We all have our own opinions, and we're all going to be offended by certain things and laugh at certain things.
Or you can choose not to be offended. That's what I would love. For people
I mean,
not to get their feelings hurt so much.
It's pretty easy to get up and walk away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that would solve a lot of problems in the world.
If I don't like something, I choose to walk away.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to sit here and be resentful through this. It's like, shut the fuck up. Anyways.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, cool. So, okay, yeah. So we were talking about, I want incidents, like maybe something embarrassing or funny or like Don was. I remember one time Don was on stage and some guy charged. On stage.
So that was the first night. That was my showcase night at the studio. So the show was at the Maltese, but then we went and hit up a mic after that first show.
Yep.
And he got rushed. Yeah. So nothing like that. Let me see if anything's. At an open mic, I was performing, I think, like last or something, and my brother was there, and there was a guy heckling me, which I can handle, but my brother's a protective big brother.
Right.
So this was during my set. My brother got in a big bar fight. Somebody picked up a bar stool. My brother got 86 from the first time he ever saw me do comedy from my favorite comedy bar. So I was like, thanks, big brother. That's fucking really cool. So
thanks for being supportive.
That was shitty. Just because, I took offense to it because I can handle myself. I can take care of myself. I don't need protection from anybody. And, he didn't understand. Because I think the guy flipped me off or something because I was talking shit. And, flip off my little sister. Getting all aggro, whatever. But I got this. I can handle that.
Well, I bet you that guy never flipped off another comedian.
Right. Yeah.
Who knows?
But the worst thing I ever did, I got really drunk one night, and I was at the Maltese, and this girl kept talking through my whole set, and I was suggestive that somebody should maybe rape her in the mouth.
Oh, my God.
Or fuck her in the mouth to shut her up.
At the Maltese?
At the Maltese. Probably not the best bar in town to be talking about female assault, but I was toasty, and I was like, will somebody shove a dick in this bitch's mouth and shut her the fuck up? So it's safe to say that I didn't win over the crowd that night. So comedy and booze kind of go hand in hand, but it's not always the best.
It's tough, right?
Right.
Because everywhere you perform comedy, usually people are served. There's alcohol being served, or people are drinking. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's definitely something. As Don cracks a beer over here, that's great timing.
Right.
But no, let's just talk about it. You were telling me earlier on, you're 90 days sober.
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
not drinking right now, and
how's that feel?
So I'm realizing now how much I was relying on alcohol as a crutch with comedy. It was like my nerve medicine. So I was super dependent on that, or it made me care less if I bombed or I didn't care so much. So now trying to get back into it sober, I mean, I'm feeling my feelings now. So when I bomb, it hurts, but I need to keep getting on stage so I can get used to that. Because the nights that I have done well, it's like I'm doing really I'm remembering my fucking jokes. We're not telling the setup before the punchline when I'm all fucked up. So it's definitely challenging because, you know, you're at a bar, everybody's, especially the studio when, you know how that can be.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Personally, for me, I'm been sober for almost a year.
I know,
and
that's
I feel,
awesome.
Well, thank you.
It's hard.
Best part is I get a shitload of likes on Facebook when I post about it.
Makes you feel good, man.
But no, I feel like it's made me a better comedian because I would be I would do shows like my own shows, and I'd get fucking drunk as shit. This is the greatest show of all time. Like, oh, fucking, this is great, and I'd blow all whatever my money I'd make, and just, you know, I was like, this is so great. And most notably at the Whitewater Saloon in Paradise.
Yes.
I mean, dude, it was so sobering, literally, to be sober.
Yes.
And do that show for the first time, which was the last show there.
I think was that when we were there. Was that the last show?
I don't think you were.
I think you had one more after that.
I don't think you or Don were there at the last one.
Yeah.
We had an incident where someone dropped a microphone.
Oh, shit.
But I just was sober, right? So I'm like, at this point, like, this is terrible. But actually, it was probably one of the better shows there because I had people really listening, but at the same time, like, I really was open to just the whole situation, and that I wasn't before because I was drunk every single time.
Right.
And it was just like, I don't know, for me, it's more eye-opening. I feel like I'm more honest with myself and my material and my shows and everything I do. I'm like, I'm not in this, like, again, just speaking for me, like, I'm in this, like, drunken, like, stupor where I just think everything's great, and you know, and I'm not accountable.
Right.
That's just me.
And with me, I was fearful, like I'm sure most people are when they quit drinking or whatever substances they quit, that they're going to lose their creative edge or whatever. They're not going to be as funny, which was my biggest fear. It's like, you know, because booze forever has given me, you know, lowered my inhibitions so I could be, you know, brave and do stupid shit and not be embarrassed and really give it my all. So the only thing I'm working on now with being sober and doing comedy is to not be so timid, and I can still fucking throw it all out there. I'm just gonna be aware of what's gonna come back at me, but I'm doing a better job and I'm being more creative and I'm writing more. I think the drinking hindered me from writing new material, so I'm really trying to pump out new stuff now that I'm not liquored up, and I can remember, you know, when you have those drunken nights where you think you have a bit and you're trying to decipher all your drunken notes to try to make a bit out of it the next day. It's like, fuck, you can't remember anything. You forget to record, you forget to write it down, so at least sober you remember your shit.
And I mean, again, just to put you over again, like, I know you're super talented, you got a great personality, and you're just naturally good on stage and funny and all that. And you have the advantage, I feel, over everybody because you live with Don Ashby, and you get probably his opinion on all your material.
Right. But it's been challenging too, because I mean, I admire Don and what he does a lot, and for me, I've realized after 3 years of being together and is that I need to try out my bits before talking to him about it, because I won't know what's gonna work, because I've tried out bits on him before it happened, you know, and he'll give me notes, but then I'll get in my fucking head and I won't even try them out. So for me, I have to perform them and then get feedback. But yes, it is an advantage.
Yeah,
it's helped me out tremendously.
I'm going to actually ask him, and I got a joke I want to ask him about before I get out of here, if he doesn't mind, because he's so good. I was talking about this earlier on the show with him. I feel like he should have his own monthly writing session, $5 a head at least.
He's too humble.
Well, I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna be his agent. I'm gonna set it up. I'll just take 10%, Don. But so what I want to, I guess, say is, like, as great as Chico comedy scene is, as great as Don is, as great, you know, great as you are, like, I feel like expanding the horizons, like going to Sacramento, going to the Bay Area.
That's what I need to do.
You know, that kind of stuff. What are your goals in, like, the next couple of years?
In the next couple of years, I'm still getting my feet wet right now. I mean, I got a lot of shows coming up. Like I said, we got the show at the Copa de Oro. Is that what it's called?
This Saturday, September 21st.
Come on out.
8 p.m.
And then we got the Arcada Comedy Festival next month, and then I got a show at Duffy's next month, and then the Chico Comedy Festival in November. So I have a lot of stuff coming up. But long-term goals as far as comedy goes, I love it. I'm passionate about it. If I had I mean, I would love to pursue it full time if I could, but can't quit my day job just yet. Right. So, I mean, I just gotta write more. That's my biggest goal for myself, is pumping out new material, because it has, I still got some bits from when I started. So it's, and I always am trying to impress the comics versus my audience. So I need to try to write more for the people that like me. My jokes are for them. It's not for, because all those comics are so different. Like me and Don, like you said, have completely different demographics. So just
to make one more wrestling comparison, I said it's my last one. A lot of times, what we're doing, wrestling match or whatever, we want to do something that'll pop the boys in the back, right? That impress the boys. But what I've seen is if you can pop the boys or pop the comedians, then you can usually, the crowd's going to love it too, right?
Yeah. So I would agree with that. Stuff I need to work on. There's a lot I need to work on, and tackling this comedy being sober thing is, that's a first hurdle. Yeah. But I've had a couple good performances. I'm going to be sober in Orville this Saturday, We'll see how that goes.
All right. Well, hey, dude, I'm really proud of you.
Thanks, man. I'm proud of you. Hey. Look at us kids. Moving up in the world, man. We were probably wasted the first time we hung out, Mitch.
I was definitely drunk and watching you perform at the Maltese.
That's why you thought I was so funny.
But no, it's just, I'm proud of you guys. I love you guys. I think you're two of my favorite people, just in general. Like, I love being around you guys, and I appreciate your time today. Where can people find more out about you on social media?
I'm trying to get better at my social media. I'm bad like Don, but I'm pretty active on Facebook, and I'm just getting my Instagram account going, which is Sid_Vicious08. And I need to get into Twitter. I need to put my stuff on YouTube. I'm trying to. That's another thing that I'm trying to work on too, is networking. Yeah. Right? Which is something you and Dillon are so good at, is the networking. And we need to all go to Sacramento more. We need more mics. We need, that it's just stage time. So making the effort to do all of that is important, man.
All right, cool. Well, hey, high five, boom. Thank you, Sydney Hupp, for coming on the show.
Thank you, Betty.